I'm Darren, the Magic Ghostbuster, and in this video I'm taking a look at the new Hasbro re-release Fright Features figures and comparing them to the Kenner originals. So we'll start by taking a look at Ray's stance in the vintage Fright Features figures. As you can see, it's a very good representation of Ray, so let's bring him in close to the camera so you can see the figure. Now, my vintage Fright Features figures, I've got different languages and all different cards. So the only one I have that matches this card is my vintage Ray. So let's put them together for a second and compare. So immediately, the first thing I notice is in the modern one, the Ghost is a lot brighter. It looks more orange there and more red on the vintage. I do wonder sometimes about comparing this stuff. Has the colour just changed over time on the vintage one through age or not? I don't really know. But yeah, looks a lot brighter there. And then the suit on the modern one, again, looks a little bit brighter. But I mean, otherwise than that, the colours look pretty spot on. So let's just bring those in closer so you can see them side by side. And then the cards, again, pretty similar. Again, a bit brighter on the more modern day version. You don't have the who you're going to call written up the top. I remember there was some fuss about that with the first line of re-releases that when they come out in America. Some of them had who you're going to call and it got removed. I had heard that was due to not owning the rights to the phrase who you're going to call, but that was just from people talking on forums. I don't know if anyone actually got that 100% confirmed from anyone, or if that was just someone said it and everyone took it as fact. I have no idea. So, on the more modern version that I have, you have the different languages in that box there, and on this one it is just in English. Now, for some reason on a lot of these vintage Rays, there was nothing printed on the back. Let's take a look here. So if we look at the more modern day version, get that in a better light. So you have the instructions of obviously how to use him, squeeze his arm, and does the fright motions. And then you have images of the 4 Ghostbusters there. So let's get rid of Ray. And who shall we look at next? Let's take a look at Egon. So here is the more modern day Egon. One thing I forgot to say actually is all these have some tape going around here. So don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but it's got 1.5 inch thick tape that goes over this corner. And there's also tape going around these top bit, that top bit there. Was that the only bit where there's other tape? But yeah, most people are assuming it's because the glue they use on the backing cards and the bubbles is absolute rubbish. So could be a way of keeping it on there. So I have no idea how true that is. But anyway, there's Egon. His tie, if you had these as a kid, you'll know his tie was very fragile. If you find these loose, often, on the vintage one at least, often you'll find the broken tie. So it's hard to find a loose one with a tie. Anyway, let's bring in the vintage one. So obviously a different backing card. I mean, the artwork is obviously the same artwork. Slight differences, like on the modern one, this doesn't have that glow around it on this Egon, but obviously this is from a different country, this one. So it's not really fair to compare the cards too much. But the actual figures, so again the Ghost, slightly different colouring. And then Egon, again, slightly different colouring as well. The just looks a little brighter on the more modern day version. And again, I just don't know if that is just time has made the old one look a little darker. But there you go. And then if we turn these round, so the back on the modern day versions are all identical. And if we look at, and now obviously this was a foreign card, so it might have been different to the English one, but most of the well, I believe all the old ones really did have loads of different pictures of different things from the range. So obviously this just has the Fright Features. It doesn't show us what's come before the Ecto-1 and the previous Ghosts, whereas this has got quite a lot of the range on there. But wait, let's get rid of Egon. And then, before we move on to the other two, I just want to bring in one that they didn't do a re-release of, which is the Janine in this line. And I think that's a shame that they did not do Janine. This was the first time we got a Janine figure back in the day. It was very exciting to get a Janine figure, actually. I remember wanting one, then eventually it came out, so it was good. But yeah, it's a shame they've not done that in the modern day version. But anyway, let's look at Winston next. So here's the modern version, and here's the old version. So again, I mean, they look pretty much identical. It's just the colours. This Ghost's brighter again, and just Winston just looks a little brighter overall. But other than that, they do look pretty spot on. There you go. And then, last but not least, we'll look at Peter Venkman. So, modern version and vintage version. And again, the ghost brighter and more translucent. I mean, that was a theme with the ghosts on the previous re-release line. The ghosts just looked more translucent and brighter on all of them. But there they are. But the Peter Venkman figures, with his creepy green eyes, again looking very pretty much spot on again. So there you are. That is a look at the modern versus the vintage re-releases. So let me know what you think of these. Now, I had all the vintage Fright Features as a kid. I will be honest, they weren't my favourites. I always went back to playing with the original Ghostbusters figures, because that to me was how they appeared in the show. When I was playing with them, I wanted them in their classic flight suits. So wasn't massively into a lot of the other Kenner versions back in the day. So I had the Fright Features and a few of the others, but like I said, wasn't massively into them. But let me know what you think about these. Are you going to get the modern day ones, or it's just not something you're into? But anyway, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, keep on busting.
Want to give a big shout out to the Magic Ghostbuster. Hey Darren, very, very impressive.